Hey y'all, it's Natalie, and today is the signature style hop that my friend Sara Scraps hosts. We are hopping along, the links are down below, but we are all creating in our own signature style. So it's sure to be a lot of fun today, a lot of inspo. I have this really big cut file I got from the Paige Evans Facebook group for free, and I cut it really big. And I was seeing if I could fit both of those pool photos in the letters, but it wasn't going to work out. So I'm just going to do one of Heath, and Lachlan will wait till later. So I'm going to put that photo of Heath in the R. And otherwise, I'm going to create rainbow with watercolors in the letters. So I'm kind of just tracing around the letters with a pencil. In retrospect, I do wish that I had done like a lighter line and maybe a little bit less messy, but I cover it up with watercolor, and mostly, if anything is still showing, I cover it up with die cuts at the end. But anyway, that's just keeping it real for you guys. I probably should have used maybe a white pen. That could have worked better. But I have clear gesso on this white background, and now I'm going to pull out a rainbow of watercolor sprays. There are different brands of different sprays, and sometimes they get clogged and I don't have time to go like run them under hot water. So I just pour them out, and I'm going to put clear water in the letter first, and then I'm going to drop in the watercolor. So it will kind of expand within the clear water and run all over the letter and kind of hopefully stay in the letter where I already defined the space with that clear water. So I'm loving how that looks. And at first it does look a little messy, but you can know that when I put the cut file back over it, it defines the letter really well, and you can see it a lot better, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of trying to do a Roy G. Biv. Obviously the R is the pink, but so I'm going to do like pink, yellow, orange, then green, then blue, and then of course the photo has a ton of blue in it. So kind of just two different shades of blue. I like tapping the brush a little bit because it gives those little splatters, and those will show outside of the cut file a little bit, and I'll go back in and add additional splatters later because I love a good splatter, and I love the two tone look that it gives once you like let the watercolor dry and then go back and add additional watercolor on top of it. So now I'm going to go in with the yellow. I kind of split those up just so that they didn't run into one another so much. Like a little bit of running into one another is fine. But I didn't want a lot. I wanted the colors to kind of stay separate. So that's why I did I'm kind of jumping around between the letters. There you can see how it defines the letter better. And I'm happy with how that looks. And I die cut the cut file with paper from the Ombre color block collection that we got in the May cherry box, and it's like a yellow ombre paper that turns into like lime green. So that's why I chose this lime green color, and I'm really loving how it looks down here. So like I said, this is a hop. It's a hop of a bunch of different YouTubers, and we are just all like, there's no really theme besides like use your signature style, which obviously, not obviously, but my signature style includes a lot of mixed media and not typically a lot of cut files, but I've actually been using cut files a lot lately, and I love Paige Evans cut files, and she is always super generous and gives away a ton of free ones, and yeah, I love using her cut files a lot lately. So I'll link her Facebook group down below if you're interested in obtaining those. She's very generous and gives out a lot, but she also does a lot of cut files, like bundles and things that you can get in your email every month. So she's super talented. So this is a Heidi Swap Color Shine that was that blue color, and so I have to go back over it because it dried like a lot lighter than I expected. I think it doesn't really love when you add, it doesn't, you know, it has a life of its own. It doesn't love when you add in water too much. So I will go back over it with additional paint. But first, I'm kind of trying to keep the splatters in their own section, their own color section. So that's why I'm using this like scrap cardstock to kind of cover up the other sections. But then of course I wasn't getting full coverage with my splatter, so I moved it a little bit. But anyway, I do allow the splatter to sit on there to dry a little bit. So if you allow it to sit to dry, it will kind of be a little bit darker than, you know, if you roll it up or add a lot of water. When I added a lot of water to the bottom layer of color, it obviously diluted it and made the color lighter. And so if you allow the color to dry without rolling it up or adding water to it, then it will be brighter or darker. So there I am adding in the additional blue there to kind of fill in the space. But another tip is when you are splattering, you kind of need to wait for the bottom layer to be dry, or your splatters will just kind of absorb into the wetness of that color. So that's what happened with the green, and I have to go back in and add additional splatter. Did you see that new bottle of Nuvo? Ugh, is that just like a dream, right? It's a brand new spanking clean bottle of Nuvo adhesive. A little treat yourself moment right there. So I'm putting in the photo in the R. It was really the only place that the photo really fit, and it didn't kind of cross his face with any of the letters. And you can see like that U is looking rough. I needed a new cut mat. I'm so lazy when it comes to switching out my Cricut cut mats. If you're doing something pretty intricate, you need a good fresh blade and a good fresh mat. And I did not. So I had to kind of doctor up this cut file, but it's okay. It worked out because it's not too intricate. But some of Paige's cut files are so intricate that I really suggest using like a fresh mat and a fresh blade. So you can see I doctored up that little bit of the lime green that needed more splatter down there because I was trying to splatter when it was still too wet. And now I am adhering down my cut file and try my best to cover up my pencil lines. Like I said, you could still see some of them, but I'm going to go back through and add a bunch of die cuts that will mostly cover them up. Next time I would suggest maybe trying to use a pen, like a white gel pen, and that should show up enough that you could keep it within the confines of that. So my friend Kira sent me like a bunch of goodies for my birthday, which included these die cuts and things that I'm using here, these gorgeous florals. I love how the orange and blue flower kind of worked where I could color block them, and the same with that yellow and blue. So I just cut off the pink so that I could just add in the yellow flower to the yellow section and the blue flower to the blue section. But I did feel like I needed one down where the green is. So I went into a different bag and I grabbed this green flower, which is the similar style, but it's not colored in. So I decided to color it in with a green little marker that I had laying on my, laying around. So I found that die that says feels like home, and I thought, well, let's make this about how we just got a new pool. Like we have like a little above ground pool that we bought at Sam's Club. Nothing's fancy or anything, but the kids love it, of course. And so when I found the home die, I was like, okay, we'll talk about how we have a pool at our home now. So that's why I added the subtitle or the pre-title. So I don't know. New pool summer is kind of like the entirety of the title, and I love those puffy alphas. I think those are Citrus Twist kits, but Kira sent those to me, and they're beautiful ombre, so they're gonna go in the sunshine. So it says new pool summer, and then it has a little die cut that says feels like home, and then I also add in a couple of little lime green stickers down there in the green M. And you can see I colored in the flower, so it kind of goes a little bit better with all the other colored flowers. And then off screen, I will just use my fingernail to rough up the edges of those stickers as well as that die cut because it just wasn't feeling rustic enough for me. I really like a distressed edge, and I hadn't done that beforehand. So that's just like a pro tip. If you want to add a little bit of texture after the fact, you can just like use your fingernail and rough up the edges a little bit. I think that I'm really close to finishing up over here. Off screen, I just add a couple of green sequins down there because I just felt like it needed a little bit more. But that's it. Make sure you hop along with all the incredibly talented friends down below. And I'm also going to put my affiliate links if you would like to go shopping, especially at a cherry on top. A lot of these items come from there. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.